Hello everybody and welcome back to Student Budgets. So today I wanted to review what we spent in February. I wouldn't usually do this actually. It's really funny. I always like to make a budget, but I never actually review it and go over it. And so I'm trying to hold myself a bit more accountable. And if that works, that will definitely be a big tip that will help me in the future. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look over February, close out the budget, see how we go, review it, and then that I think will help us when we go forward with March. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, not on March, on to February. So with February, I'm just going to try and see if I can zoom these out. I can't, so I'll have to move these up just very quickly. So with February, this was for me a 4-week month. And it wasn't too bad of a month. As you can see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 no spends. So 10 no spends out of 28 days isn't too bad. So that's what, about 30% or something like that. So that's not too bad at all. I am trying to push for more. So far, I'll give these a little sneaky preview of March. We have been doing quite well with 3 no spends out of 5. I'm filming this on the Wednesday, so we're not doing too bad. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're just going to have a little look through. I'm going to quickly just go through this bit here. As you can tell, I have already filled some of these bits in. So let me get my green pen out as well. Or my red pen. Shall we get a red pen? We'll feel a bit more serious. We'll go with green because we've done the best thing green. So the bits I've filled in are the bits that I have just went through myself just to help a bit. So with groceries, we did go over a bit. However, this month so far with March, we've been definitely under budget, and that is hopefully what we're going to continue with going into the next term. To be fair, with over the summer, I was looking at my budget because in the UK, we don't get giving any money after basically April. So between April and like September, like by September, I mean the like final day of September, you get nothing in between. So I've went over my budget for summer and we're looking okay, thankfully. We're looking perfectly healthy. So I'm not too worried about that. Originally I was, but now that I've looked over it, we went into depth a bit with it. The only thing that might change is that I'm going to do weekly budgets. So when it comes to the summer, we're going to be doing more weekly instead of monthly. The other day was looking at abundant budgets, so I might get that. But anyways, you're not here to hear me ramble on about that. So I was going on about groceries, but I'm going to go over at bills. So for bills, both of these were normal, and then we didn't actually spend on hobbies. This month, however, I am expecting I'm gonna buy a little bit more. I've got all the pictures that I need to get them print off, but I want to get a few duplicates and I want to get some bigger ones as well for some nice photo frames. So while I have only budgeted £1.99, that might come out of spending money in the month of March. So altogether, our bills came up slightly under budget at £24.78. So that's not too bad. I'm not going to do the leftover because I'm really lazy. £90.66. I will probably do the rollovers off camera. Household, we did, like, this is really weird to say. So technically we haven't budgeted anything in terms of what I put into cash. However, we have spent money in there. And I am going to get the binder out, I think. I'm just going to quickly go through it with you. Obviously, I have updated the money with March as well. So if you have watched my budget with me for March, you'll see what the outcome of that's been. So that's probably a better option. So I am going to class it as 0 because we technically didn't add anything in, but we did lose. We have technically spent money on it, but we didn't necessarily. We had the money there already from a previous month. So I'm not going to budget that. So that altogether is 134.66. It will be that reason that this month will feel a little bit more pricey, I think, that might actually be. So I might end up changing the figures a bit. Home, again, 0. Study, 0. Self-care was just its normal 10. I didn't spend anything in self-care. So that's totally okay. Treats we did spend a bit of, if I'm correct. Oh, maybe I should count that figure up there then. Do you think I should? I suppose I probably should, shouldn't I? Let's have a little look over it. So we spent what, £4, sorry. Let's actually count that in. That's counted, I suppose. For treats we spent what, £1.50, something like that. yeah, 150. You have to apologise because when we've got this here, I cannot like write like that. Societies, I don't actually think how much did I just spend the £2? I think I did, yeah. I just spent £2 of that. I was gonna join some new ones, but I haven't. I think what I might do is I'll keep that for potentially the next following year. And then travel and bus, this could be quite a hefty one, I have a feeling. I haven't actually totaled this up yet, so I've got £1.10, 150. I'm just making sure you can see what I'm doing. Yep. So I've got 110, 150, another 110. I will count that £4 in there. 110, 150, 110, another 110, and another 110. Oh, 1360. Okay, that's not too bad. A little bit over, but not awful. So in terms of that, we spent 10, 150, 79.20, £2 and 13.60. So that's 94.42. That doesn't sound right. Actually, it probably is. Yeah, that looks about right, actually. 94.42. That doesn't sound right. No, it doesn't. That'll be why. No, sorry, 104.92. You can tell I don't check out more very often. I'm just making sure. It's not even right, is it? £106.30. So, altogether, runningly, we are roughly about whereabouts we want to be. I'm just quickly checking. In terms of this, there's nothing I'm missing off. Bar this, but this is separate. And I think bar that we are all okay. So what we're going to do, I think I haven't been doing my weekly check-ins. I need to get used to doing them. But I just can't be bothered at times. So let me zoom you in so you can see what I'm going to quickly do. So I've never actually done this before, the budget review within this. So with the month of, I'm just going to do bits of it. So I would actually give this month quite a decent rating. It's better than most have been. I can't be bothered to colour them in. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think it could have been a little bit better in aspects because the bits that you have seen are the bits that have been budgeted. There was, I did obviously go on my trip to York, which was a separate thing. So I think that might have impacted it a little bit, but I would actually, you know, we'll give it a 4. We'll give it a 4. Treat ourselves, go on. And there was like 1 or 2 in budget spends, and obviously a couple of things I couldn't really do anything about. It just happens. So that was what occurred within the previous month. And while probably it is less than what we budgeted, it feels that in my bank account I have spent much more than that in most areas, and I feel like there might be 1 or 2 bits I might be missing off here. I've tried to write them all down to the best of my ability, but I do think I am missing a couple of aspects potentially within that there. I think potentially spending needs to be a little bit more monitored just to make sure we're keeping up to date with it, because like there's a spend down here that I haven't put as spending with groceries. I think there's just been aspects of it where we've overspent and now to compensate with, say, spending money, but then I've left myself nothing. So I'm trying to get better at more the budgeting of groceries and then not having to dip into spending. But you know, those things happen. Especially with trying out my new style of groceries instead of doing it every week, doing it every 2 weeks, and then just doing a tiny little top-up shop in the middle. It's just a case of getting used to it, and I've gotten more used to it. And I think today having that one where it was a perfect example of I have my list, I get everything I need, but then I still have a tiny bit of money left over if to pick up 1 or 2 extras that I didn't think about. So that's working great. So in terms of reflections, it's be careful with groceries. I think that's something we definitely need to look at, and spending. Which again, I'm looking at. I don't necessarily think it's a case of I need to increase my spending money nor my grocery money. I think it's just a case I need to be more careful with and selective with it. And that's something that in the month of March and I'm trying to implement really throughout the whole spring. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be kept reflecting on. Obviously there was some unbudgeted spends, unplanned spends, and this was pretty much down to emergencies. It wasn't necessarily an emergency, but like it was something that I was trying to fix myself, and obviously it therefore costs to try and get the stuff that I needed to fix up with. So that obviously is why we're saving up an emergency fund. If you watch some of my cash stuffs, I think we're currently at about 125, I think, in there. So we're not doing too badly. I didn't use any money from emergencies. I will just state that as well. And then I think bar that, it's a case of in terms of out, we were about 80 pence under budget. My plan is for out, because we have already spent a good proportion of that, is try and not cutting the social aspect, but cutting the amount we spend socially. So cutting basically back down back down to cheaper drinks, so typically more soft drinks, and I don't mind that if I prefer them. I think potentially for Lent, I might just, as an excuse, give up alcohol and be like, well, it's Lent, so with having Pancake Day, I might actually do that. That's a good idea. Might do that. And I think that's like my main three reflections on that. In terms of the visual breakdown, let me see how well we can do this. Don't hold your hopes, please, because it's not going to turn out very pretty. So bills resulted for round about one of these. Roughly about one of these is bills. Envelopes, let me have a little look just as a reminder. Envelopes was probably about just over a third. So probably 1, 2, 3, and then that. Can you tell I've never done these before? These will get much neater, I can promise you, as we go on. I haven't actually done, as I've said, I haven't done the review before, so it's a case of me trying to get used to it. And that's what we're going to begin doing. And then sinking funds was roughly about there. That doesn't look right then. I suppose it's an extra one for the blue then. I know that's going to annoy people, but sorry, there's nothing I can do there. And then other, which was the buffer, was basically that. As I've said, I've tried to just keep this as short as possible, but this is kind of what we roughly look like. I think what I am going to do is when I get to March, I'm going to really take care with sitting down. Let me zoom back out so you can see what I'm doing. What I want to do is I want to carefully sit down when it gets to the end of the month. I'll record this video. I'll be at home for it, but we will record a video and we'll do like a full-on night session for it. We'll do a full-on thing. But yeah, so that's everything so far. I have also for once put a goal at the front, which is a low spend month for March. Which I think, to be fair, so far the spends that we've had have all been essential spends. 2 of them are bills. One of them was a grocery shop. One of them was a bus that I have to get to go to the grocery shop. One of them was my laundry. And the other one was a night out, which I had planned for in advance anyways, so I wasn't too fussed about that. So we have been doing quite well, and I've still got £6 of my spending money. It obviously should be 9, however, I then decided to scratch off the next one because I knew it was only a 3, so I thought I might as well challenge myself for once. But yeah, so that's the end of today's video. So I really hope you enjoyed coming along with me just to watch me reflect and basically be an absolute mess in reflecting. But obviously if you've got any tips as well for reflections of what you do in terms of your monthly reflections, how long you spend on it and things like that, I would love to hear the tips below, because it would definitely help me get more used to reflections, because it's great making the budget, but it's also important to reflect. And as I've said, when we become doing them more weekly, I might bring you along with that every single week. Like we might do like a plan the week, and then because it's just going to be easier to do during the summer, and I will probably maybe do a video on what's going to happen over the summer closer to the time, probably around about the end of June. But anyways, that's the end of today's video, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave your tips in the comments, and please feel free to like, subscribe, and all that stuff as well, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.